Surreal Joke, a study into the meaning and depths of surrealism and its comedic value. During my personal study, I will start off by looking at the work of Jean Miro and Dali and seeing how they use surrealism throughout their work. I will also look at some of the architectural work by Gaudi in Barcelona. I experienced his famous Sagrada Familia, which is still being built, so I will be able to use my own experiences to study his work. I want to explore Picasso's work and how it changed over time. Picasso's work had developed over the years from traditional painting to exploring abstract images. I especially like Picasso's painting of the lady playing the guitar. You have to look carefully to see the lady playing. I am going to explore this specific piece of art more thoroughly. I hope that through this research, as well as studying Miro and Dali's work, I will develop a greater understanding of the links between their creations. I will almost have an argument with Dali and Miro, discussing whose artwork is more surreal and random, what is more entertaining to look at, and what is just strange and sometimes just plain disgusting. As the second largest city in Spain, Barcelona has become one of the most populous cities of Catalonia. In 2006, the population was recorded at 1,605,602. It is home to some of the most amazing architecture in the world. Probably the most famous piece of architecture in Barcelona is a building which has been under construction for 126 years and is, as of yet, incomplete. It was originally designed by Antoni Gaudi, and its original name was Temple Expiatori de la Sagrada Familia. Gaudi originally thought his building would be finished within 10 years. During his lifetime, he began building and living in it at the same time for 40 years, before he died. Since then, the work has been carried on by a number of different architects in order to be completed, but it still isn't, and it's said not to be for the next 26 years. But I don't believe it will ever be completed, because by the time they say it's actually finished, the parts which were built first will probably be corroding away and will need rebuilding. What I don't understand is how the builders can still be motivated to work on the project, as they know full well that they are not going to see the finished project during their lifetime. Yet they chisel away at the building, perfecting every little detail, day in and day out, quite happily. It's one of the local jobs around Barcelona. Fathers and sons have worked on the building all their lives. It's like a family tradition to work on the Sagrada Familia. Personally, I don't know if I could do it myself. It is currently the most popular tourist attraction in Spain, as 2.2 million people visited the building in 2004. When I visited, I walked inside the main doors and I saw the workers performing their everyday jobs. So their job is to carry on working on the building as tourists walk past watching them and experiencing being at the Sagrada Familia. This building is huge. When I was standing in front of it, I couldn't fit it in my camera. So I took several and then put them together. These are the 3 photos I took. So I had these 3 pictures and then lined them up so all edges met correctly. Finally, I cropped it, then added some effects and adjusted the brightness to help it look more of its own. Pablo Picasso was a Spanish artist. He specialized in painting and sculpting. He is one of the most recognized artists of the 20th century. Picasso's father was an artist who taught him to paint from a very early age. According to Pablo's mother, his first word was pencil, known in Spanish as lapis. Once Picasso had finished his studies at the Academy of Arts in Madrid, he made his first trip to Paris in 1900, which is known as the art capital of Europe. At the beginning of the 20th century, Picasso fell in love with a girl called Fernande Olivier, who is featured in a lot of his work from the Rose period paintings. All of Picasso's work is put into categories, starting with the early period, the blue period, the rose period, the African-influenced period, the analytic cubism period, and the synthetic cubism period. I particularly like the analytic cubism period. The different shapes and patterns create an interesting atmosphere. The painting is a mystery. You find it hard to figure out what is going on in the pictures, but once you realize it, the figure stands out clearly. This picture is of a lady playing the guitar. It was painted in 1913. At first glimpse, it simply looks like a random mess of shapes and dark colors. Once you see the guitar strings and the lady's lips at the top, you start to see the shape of her shoulders and the way she's sitting cross-legged on a chair. Picasso creates such messy pictures that look like nothing at first, which later reveal their secrets. This picture is also of someone playing the guitar, but a man this time. Once again, if you didn't know this picture was of a guitarist, it would look very strange at first. There's not much color and it looks like a very ancient piece of art. There aren't many features in this picture which make it easy to tell what's happening. It's just shapes in this one, no details like lips or strings. After studying this picture, you can eventually see the figure of a man. You can see the shape of his shoulders and his head and the position of his right arm as it comes over the top of the guitar. Around the lower middle section of the painting, you can work out a slight shape of a guitar and the way he's sitting. It looks to me like he's sitting on a ledge or on a wall whilst playing the guitar. To me, the shape that Picasso is trying to show in the picture is something like this. While sitting down and playing the guitar on his left knee as a Spanish guitarist would, it forms what I can see in the painting by Picasso. This version might make it clearer. I simply took the shape of the lines and then placed them over the photo of the guitarist and also adjusted some colors and effects. Jean Miro was another Spanish artist who lived from 1893 to 1983. He was born into a family of goldsmiths and watchmakers in the city of Barcelona. Throughout his life he specialized in painting, sculpting, and ceramics. Most of his work contains elements of surrealism. Apparently, Jean Miro had a horrible urge to kill, murder, or rape someone during his life. Obviously, he couldn't actually do this, but he expressed his urges in his artwork. This is probably why his artwork was so surreal and sometimes disturbing. André Breton, the founder of Surrealism, described Miro as the most surrealist of us all. One of Jean Miro's most famous pieces of art was called Harlequin's Carnival. I am unsure if I enjoy this piece of art, as I am uncomfortable with its lack of form. It is just a bunch of random characters and shapes. I personally prefer this piece by Miro. It is entitled Morning Star. It has lots of hidden faces like in the top left corner. Miro uses simple lines and carefully placed shapes to suggest abstract faces. He uses limited colors with the line and lots of dull shades in the background. The block shapes and simple lines almost look like a constellation of stars. Initially, I saw a pig-like face in the top left-hand corner of the screen. I feel the piece is almost like a strange dream that has exploded on the page. Salvador Dali is probably the best known, and in my opinion, the greatest surrealist of all time. Most people know him for his piece containing Melting Clocks, The Persistence of Memory, 1931, and his signature mustache. Although famous and highly regarded, it is argued that he was not a true artist, and that he made his art up as he went along. More specifically, that he is a fraud who has no meaning to his work, and is a genius at making us believe his art did have meaning.